do you think Casca would go with Guts? Honestly, it would be a tough thing to call because it's just like she was in a great situation whenever things were normal. When Guts was just being a loyal dog and Griffith was her idol who she loved and secretly wanted to be with. I mean, for crying out loud. What up, y'all? I am back with another Berserk video, and I know it's been a minute. You probably all been thinking, yo, where has Mastermind Comics been? And trust me, we have been working. And you know, we kind of actually have a life too. But also, we've been doing shows for the company, so check these photos out. And we are going to do more shows in the future, so, you know, feel free to show some support, you know, show some love, you know, come to the booth, come to the shows, come to the panels that we do. And honestly, you know, come check out our stories that we are creating because we got a lot more stories coming for y'all. And on that note, let us talk about the subject matter of discussion. Is Guts simping for Casca? Now, that's the most important question that I think all Berserk fans want to know. Is Guts really simping for Casca? I mean, because if you think about this, if a person is waiting for someone for so long to return, to come back to normal, whatever that looks like, that person has to be either crazy or simping, right? So let's present this case. And, you know, I can tell you, this is not easy to decipher. But we'll start off with the first thing. And I know everyone might be thinking like, dude, what a crazy and outlandish question. But it's just like, listen, y'all. This man has been chasing Casca for a long time, almost to the point where he's accelerating in age. Even though it was just, you know, because of the use of the Berserker armor that, you know, he had a streak of white hair. But it's just like, why? Why would you do all of this just for this one person? And you know, people will say, oh, you know, it's because, you know, he loves her so much and, you know, he really wants to be with her and that's his person. And it's just like, no, there are too many women out in this world to be wasting your time with probably somebody that you don't even mesh with. Now, granted, this is you know, it's a story, right? And so we all have to paint these illustrations to tell a really good story. But in practicality, no one person is going to wait an eternity. We can't even have people stay in relationships for less than a week. So here's the thing, y'all. So let's talk about some of the things that I've noticed. Just reading the Berserk series and just understanding the psychology behind, you know, Guts and, you know, what he's thinking, right? So Casca rejected Guts. And everybody keeps saying, why do you keep going to that? And it's because it is true. She rejected him. Whether you say, oh, she didn't want to drag him down, or she didn't want him to feel responsible from, you know, holding back from his dream. Listen, Casca rejected Guts from staying when he volunteered to stay. Now, I'm telling you, in 2022, when somebody rejects you, obviously you move on because your thoughts are, well, okay, this person really doesn't want me around for whatever the reason the case is, and I'm not about to find out what that reason is. They just told me when I offered to stay, they said, no, you must go. This is not your problem anymore. And this is what she told Guts. Now, Guts, I don't know if he was using his noggin. We all know, just based off of the series, that he's really not all that bright, but he's very, very strong. Like, he's like a man's man. Like, he's just strong, right? So, in normal situations, when a girl or a guy tells the other person that, hey, you know, don't wait around for me, listen, go find somebody else, or listen, you gotta go. Obviously, you part your separate ways. Now let's take like instances from different, you know, series like Forrest Gump, right? Where Forrest Gump was really waiting on Janae, is her name, but he was waiting on, you know, Janae, like for real. He was doing his best. He was doing his thing. He was doing, you know, he's living his best life. breaking records, being, meeting all these people, starting businesses. And then every time he kept waiting on him. Now, there's only one reason that I could think that he was waiting around, and I'm talking about Guts now. After, we go on to different cases, right? So let's talk about the next thing, right? There is no dude that will wait for a person. I'm just telling you, I keep going back to that because it's like, no one will wait that long for somebody and have open doors. We can't even get people to have the notion of, okay, yo, like, maybe it's not time to just rush into something. No, people want this like instant gratification. Hell, even with Instagram, even with social media, even all these things, they want a microwave solution. They're like, I gotta wait. Oh no, I'm gonna find it and get it quicker, right? So these are just some of the things that I think in my mind that Guts is really wasting his life, because the dude is fighting a god along with many gods for one person. And it's just like, was it really that good? We'll keep investigating, right? So listen, there are billions and billions of women on the Berserk universe who actually have shown interest in Guts. Now, maybe, Guts didn't find them attractive, even though there was certain instances where he actually did, aka for knees, right? We're not gonna let that one go, right? And there are plenty of women that would just want Guts. But I believe the man is simping, but I think it's for one reason. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But don't forget to like and subscribe. I know this is like a long, different video when I'm just kind of talking you through it. But I'm telling you, this gets better. So the simple truth is, she was Guts' first. Right? Guts, that, in the sense of like, his first time being with a woman, Casca was his first. And that's what the narrative is being shown, that he is sprung over her. And, in different stories and, movies, shows, they always depict that the first time is always special and that people always sprung over the first. But honestly, that wasn't the case for Casca. Because Guts was her first too. And yeah, she liked him, and she enjoyed it. And when we go to the the wounds chapter, chapters 1 and 2, it was clear that she enjoyed the session with Guts, but in the back of her mind, when it first was about to go down, she was like, "What am I doing? I didn't want him to be my first. I actually wanted Griffith to be my first." Now, again, this is just my observation. Again, doing psychoanalysis, doing observations of the wounds chapter, and just her mental state throughout the Berserk series. Listen, you can argue, you can debate. I'm not here to debate. I'm only here to present. And the truth of the matter is, Guts was not her first choice. Griffith was her first choice. Now, this right here is so pivotal because you have two people with two opposite thoughts going into a session. Now, granted, they're messed up in the head, both of them. One was, brutally raped by somebody, while the other one almost got raped, but, their savior, Griffith, saved them and, gave them a chance to live a life. Because she was about to go into slavery. As a bed wench. So, and with the two different mindsets of like, okay, I really like this other person, and you left, and kind of destroyed the I guess the polyamorous situationship that I had with the two of y'all. That I liked the Griffith, but I also liked you, but I didn't really let you know. But I was very aggressive to you, and I was being very mean, chastising you and things of that nature. But then when you left, I'm like, oh my goodness, I made a mistake. I really want you. But I also want him too. And at the same time, I wanted him to be the first, not you. So, it's kind of complicated. And so this is the situational ship that Casca has found herself in. Now, obviously I got to get to this situation because, listen, I know this is a touchy subject for everybody. So I'm going to keep it very clear, cut, and straight to the facts. And just also just stating my opinion on the matter, right? So, listen, the eclipse situation that happened, that we all know, right? Again, I don't recommend, anyway, I'm just talking about the specific things. Griffith raped Casca, right? And at the same time, Griffith was the second person to actually, be intimate with Casca. Now, keep in mind, this is who she always wanted to be her first because she was so infatuated and she actually loved the dude. Until, she made love to Guts. But then she found herself in a situational ship where she was like, okay, I really still want and liked Griffith. And I didn't imagine for us to be a thing, honestly, because when we were going to go save him, that's all I could think about. Even after our session, I was like, yo, I want to see what Griffith's like. And, imagine if they had saved Griffith and he was in his normal state, right? Meaning he was a healthy soldier and things of that nature. Do you think Casca would go with Guts? Honestly, it would be a tough thing to call because it's just like she was in a great situation whenever things were normal. When Guts was just being a loyal dog and Griffith was her idol who she loved and secretly wanted to be with. I mean, for crying out loud. It was pretty evident. Now, let's talk about, how this affects Guts, right? So, after you see that somebody, a demon, a god demon, has brutally raped your lady, at the time, and you witnessed it with your own eyes, and you saw some things that you're like, now why would she do that? Or why would she say that? And I'm just telling you, that's just what she said. Don't watch. And I'm like, well, any other words would have soothed my soul than don't watch. So anyway, we moved past that, right? Now we are okay. Griffith is obviously, taken over Casca's child's vessel's body, right? So he's able to, be in the physical world using Casca and Guts as baby, right? So here's the thing, Guts, brother, even before and after, the girl that Casca, is not the same. She is broken, right? And y'all may say, oh, well, he's just being loyal. He's just, he's being a good person. Like, why can't you just accept that he's just being, he's in love? Well, here's the thing, okay? Even when he was trying to restore her, there were moments that it's just like, yes, she was understanding, but then she was still not all there in the mind. So whenever Guts tried to push up on her, she was like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know you. Get off of me, right? And so that hurt Guts' feelings because he's like, man, I'm doing all this. I'm sacrificing my life. I'm literally sacrificing my whole life for you. But at the same time, he's like, yo, I still want to get my revenge on Griffith. So it's just like, dude, it's no problem getting your revenge. But for you to wait on one person that really doesn't, you don't even know if that is her desire to go back to being normal. So at that point, you're like wasting time when there's plenty of opportunities before you. So that's why I'm saying that even when there was moments where Casca was like, no, get away, or, ooh, you a demon, or you a monster. Yes, and it's because, Guts did try to push up on her multiple times, and one was kind of forceful, almost reminding of the eclipse. Again, that's a no-no. That's simpish behavior. Like, you that desperate to push up on somebody who's, not even there in their mind. Borderline retarded. And so, to me, that's simping behavior. Like, it's like, there are plenty of other women who are ready to jump on your bones, but you refuse. It's like you're like, I'm saving myself for Casca when she comes back, but I'm still gonna push up on her because I'm a man. But it's just like, dude, if you really wanted to get it off and get it popping. You had plenty of subjects, from the witch lady to Fernie to other people who have came across and wanted you. And it's just like you're missing out on living your life because you're obsessed of restoring Casca's original self. And that is impossible. That pain that she experienced will never leave her because multiple things happened all in a short span of time. One, she was almost raped by a demon as you were knocked out unconscious, but you woke up to save her. But at the same time, she saw her ex-lover / idol / person she worshipped be weaker than a rag doll. So that was another thing that was like, oh my gosh. And then on top of that, you left the Band of the Hawk, disrupted her polyamorous situation to say, all right, I made a decision. I'm ready to come back, but I also like you. But I never really didn't think I liked you like that because, you were acting like a man. And, I didn't know if that I found that attractive. That's what Guts was thinking. And again, this is just like, these are the situations that really disrupted her mind. And Guts, you are wasting so much time on one person. Now I get it, that's the whole story, things of that nature, but it's just like, look at this, right? Look at this. Guts, 100-man slayer, demon killer, the Black Knight. I mean, killing folks, right? I mean, the Black Swordsman, just whipping in and slaying folks. Like, you could do anything. You could start your own army, literally. You could even build back up the Band of the Hawk, which is kind of what he did, But subsequently, it was because it was motivation to restore Casca's memories. If I was a betting man, that's like 60% of the motivation. The other 40%, yes, he wants to slaughter Griffith. Yes, we know that. But it's 60-40. So it's just like, why are you placing so much importance on restoring someone who may not even want to be restored? They're like, yo, let me be retarded, because going back to what I know, what went down, ain't worth it. And to me, that's again, knowing that, and even being warned by demons, other people that are not from this world. Skull Knight, yo, what your wish is may not be her wish. Why are you wishing for somebody when it's like, that's not what she wanted. That's not what she, listen. And that's why I said, that's like, these are all simpish behaviors. I mean, when she is like excited to be around other people and not you, and yes, your people are going to be like, well, she's not in the right state of mind. If none of this would have happened, I promise you she would be. Well, we don't know that because there's too many equations. And then, there's this human element to it that, imagine if Griffith was still back to normal, like in the sense of like he still had his body intact. Do you think that Guts would still be in the league, even though he made love to her first? Honestly, probably not, because eventually she's going to want to have a family. And she's going to want to settle down from like slaying folks. She's like, yo, we always got to be on the go. Like, you always want to sling your sword. And, Gus is going to be like, yo, man, I just want to sling my goddamn sword. Like, what do you not understand about that? And then, they're like, I'm going to go back to the Band of the Hawk. You tripping. And leaves, right? And, that's what I mean by, like, we don't know. But laying out human elements, possible dissertations or thesis on the subject matter, and just laying out the facts. Listen, we all know that Casca was Guts' first, as well as Casca was his first. Was it mutual? Maybe for a split second, but we had to work up to get to that point where it was like enjoyable for the two of them, because both of them had thoughts in their mind that were not the most positive, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, Guts has been simping for Casca, in my opinion, because there's no way that someone will wait eons, put your body in harm's way. Over what? Over what? You can't even be with your child. It's just like, think about this. It's like you have a child with somebody and you can't even see them because your baby mama tripping. It's like, and then on top of that, it puts you on child support. So this is what the situation was happening. The child would come around. It was always around Casca. And every time, there was a moment where all three of them were together. Casca was like, get away from him. I don't know you. You a horrible person. It's like, yes, her mind is not there yet again. But at the same time, who wants to experience all this torture and have this on their back? Honestly, you're better off going out, slaying demons, focusing on killing Griffith, and maybe getting this world back to normal. Listen, whatever happens to Casca is whatever happens to Casca. You have people who are going to take care of her, right? But at the end of the day, don't let that be your motivation. Like you were already a solid dude. You met people, you were going to meet people along the way, subsequently, just because of who you are as a person. Now, that's why I'm saying, like, based on all these evidences, I mean, like, we can talk on and on. I mean, even when Casca, let's just go there. Casca was finally restored, right? Yes, the moment that everyone was waiting for. Like, yes, Guts, you have done your job. Great job. You restored her. Even in the dream, wasn't even a happy ending when Casca was restored. She started screaming when she saw Guts. And guess what? History repeated itself. When she saw Guts in the real world, she screamed bloody murder yet again. And you know what? That hurted Guts' feelings. To the point where it's just like, he's like, man, what am I doing in my life? I done wasted all this time to restore this broad. And for all to be nothing. Like, I can't even be around her. And it's just like, well, what was the whole point? Even now, granted, he is all she got from the past. So yeah, she's gonna be like, yeah, Guts, you're so familiar. We made love, and I really want to be around you and stuff because I don't know what happened, so I have no memory of what happened. But every time, I think of you, I get all butterflies in my stomach. But then when I see you, I go into darkness because trauma, post-traumatic trauma, and we get that, we understand that. But to me, it is not worth the hassle. So in my mind, it's just like, you wasted all this time, which has deterred you from slaughtering this man. Now, granted, yes, you're dealing with a god, but at the end of the day, you have a couple of demons that have just rose with this man's army, and you could have done the same thing. Been building your army of folks. And, if you wanted to restore Casca, you can restore Casca, subsequently. But don't let that be your point of, like, focus. And yes, he put somebody in to babysit her, but it's just like, at the same time, you're still worried about her while fighting. Like, you can never really just fight freely because somebody has to watch them. And if they don't watch them carefully, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not in it all the way. And so that's why I said this is like simpish behavior. When she was on the high part of the ship, Guts was so baffling, worried. He's like, Casca, get down. What are you doing? She's like, I'd rather jump off the ship than to be saved by you because you know what you did. You pushed up on me. And it's just like, yes, he pushed up on her and that wasn't the best thing to do. But at the end of the day, y'all, it ain't worth it. It's not worth simping over one person. And the reason for that is that must have been some bomb yum because he was not letting nobody else come near. He's like, don't touch me. Girls were pushing him. I really don't like you, even though you're cute. But because I'm saving myself for one person. So I was just like, yeah, So that's what I'm saying. Was Guts really simping? Based off of the evidence that I presented, the answer is yes. Let me know if you agree with me or disagree. We can talk about this in the comments below. If you're looking for some of the most amazing content, Mastermind Comics in the building can get you what you need. Be sure to like, subscribe for more content from us. Also, I'm telling y'all, we got some amazing original mangas and comics that are worth checking out. You know, go to www.mastermindcomics.net, check out some of the stories, as well as, you know, purchase some of the products that we have to choose from as well. And we will see you guys in the next video.